Hello, and welcome to another Wednesday workshop. We are going to continue our discussion on gathering data on student learning and how to do that in the classroom, but also while we are working online, and then, of course, with our blended learning moving forward. So, today we're going to be talking about tracking, not watching. Before we get started, I want to show you this video. So go ahead and take a look at this and follow the instructions.
How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Go!
So with this video, you may or may not have seen the moonwalking bear, but I didn't the first time that I saw this. But what this was talking about was making sure that you are, looking and seeing. And a lot of times in our classrooms, we are doing a lot of watching, but not tracking. And so, what we look at and what we pay attention to is what we see. And that's one of the reasons why with, for example, PBIS that we're doing in the district, we want to focus on positive behavior and rewarding positive behavior, because what we give attention to and what we focus on is what we tend to see. Doug Limov defines tracking, not watching, as being intentional about how you scan your classroom, and that can be in person and online. And he says to decide specifically what you're looking for and remain disciplined about it in the face of distractions. So at the end of the video, there was a tag there that said, it's easy to miss what you're not looking for. And the first point I want to make is that we need to remove the moonwalking bears. When we are teaching in person, but especially online or in a blended model, there are going to be tons of moonwalking bears. And what I mean by that is there's going to be a lot of distractions. And so if you are just generally watching your class, just kind of looking for things that stand out or grab your attention so that you can address them, you're always going to find something to address. And usually it's going to be negative in some way, but a lot of times it's not going to be necessarily what you're looking for. And so there's no way to remove completely the moonwalking bears. There's always going to be distractions. But the way that we can remove them from our focus is knowing exactly what we're looking for. And that idea is tracking. So having specific feedback. And when you're tracking, you're going to know more specifically what you're looking for. And so then you can reply and respond to that particular skill or to that particular piece of learning that you want to make sure students have. When you're simply watching, there are going to be random events like a moonwalking bear. And so your feedback becomes random, and it's not necessarily tied to the learning target or the goal for the lesson. You also want to know your success criteria going in. So what does it look like for these students to be learning? What evidence should I be looking for specifically to know that students are quote unquote getting it? And when you have that success criteria in your own head, but also when you're sharing it with students, it helps that specific feedback to become even more specific and meaningful for the students. You can know exactly what you're looking for, and students can know exactly what you mean with your feedback. And then finally, we want to make sure that we are tracking skill mastery. So that's where having very specific success criteria and a learning target or a learning goal or an objective for the day is going to be very important. If you go into a lesson with no real idea of what you want the students to know or end up at, you're going to be all over the place. So we're looking for tracking skill mastery. And part of tracking skill mastery is having specific errors and success points. So we want to track what they aren't getting, not just, oh, they're not getting it or they're struggling or they're not learning, but what specifically, right? And if we have that success criteria and we know exactly what we're wanting to see, we can be even more specific about what we don't want to see. So what specifically are they not getting? Where is their thinking? Where is their tracking losing its place? And we want to track who's not getting it, right? And that can help us in a lot of different ways. We can get a good sense of the room, but we want to quantify those mistakes. We want to know how much specifically, give me a number, that aren't getting it. How many students, give me a number, aren't getting it, right? If it's just a few, then I think we can move on and come back to those, right? But we know specifically these 2 or these 3 students are going to need me to circle back or provide more support and scaffolding to move forward. But when you have that quantifiable number, that can help you to make plans for the future. What do I need to do tomorrow based on exactly specifically what am I seeing today? And then also we want to distinguish excellence from completion, especially in online learning where there are so many more distractions, right? We have distractions in our classrooms, but they are compounded when students are at home, online, and juggling all that they're doing. And so a lot of times we can fall back to, well, they got it done, right? And so I'm checking through students' work and all I'm doing is just checking to make sure, did they get it done? Did they get it done? Did they get it done? Are they finished? Did they answer every question? Did they fill in every box? But if our goal is just completion, then we can't guarantee that students are actually learning. What we want to be focused on is excellence. And that's where that success criteria comes in. The success criteria is not, I finished the paper, or I finished the worksheet, or I finished the reading. There's a skill tied to that, and we want to be focusing on that skill and not just completion. And we also want to quantify that excellence. What are they excelling at, and who's excelling at it? Give me quantifiable numbers. Again, all of that is so that you can modify your instruction. It may be in the moment, but with this particular technique, it's probably going to be more moving forward. What's happening tomorrow or later this week, or maybe planning the next big unit. I've got to do a whole unit on this skill because every single student, 100% aren't getting it, and they're not getting the majority of the skills, so I've got to do a whole unit on it or something like that. All right. I hope that these Wednesday workshops are of use to you. If you have any questions, you can email me, call or text me, or you can even schedule an appointment with me. Again, the slides for this are going to be in our Google Classroom so that you can click on any of these and so that you can have the resources available to you. Again, thank you so much for all of your hard work and dedication to our students. We are now going into a winter break, and so I wish you a very restful break with friends and family, social distance, of course, and that you come back in January just ready to go.